Hey, I'm Mike Furchess. This is my co-host for the Movie Guides.
I'm Joey Stone.
Joey Stone. What you just saw opening up the show was a trailer from a new movie called Samson, which is coming out on Flix. The release date for that, I think, is February the 13th. Does that sound about February 16th?
February 16th.
February 16th is the release date, so you'll be seeing this particular show, hopefully close to that date. Hopefully we're on TV and going by that particular time. Samson, put out by Flix. We've not heard what each other thinks about the movie. We both
Purposely, I'm anxious to hear what you got to say about it.
You want to go first? You want me to?
Let's go with you, man.
Okay.
Let's go with you.
I have been a real critic in the past of Flix. Flix is a company that has done predominantly Christian theme or Bible-based themed movies. They're noted for the movie God's Not Dead, which led the big screen box office for a number of weeks. They had God's Not Dead 2. I hated, and I can't emphasize enough, I hated those movies, and I got friends that are Christians that are going to really have issues with me for saying that. I thought they dumbed down those who were not Christians, and they built up the supposed intelligence of those who are Christians. I hated Flix. The last movie they did that I got to do a screening of was For a Case for Christ, the story of an individual who was an atheist. Lee Strobel was an atheist, worked for the Chicago Times, and ended up becoming a Christian. Great story. And they did a really good job at the theater as well. I was looking forward to Samson, one of my favorite biblical characters of all time. I love the character. And Joey and I don't know if we're going to agree on this one or not. I felt that Samson, this release on the Flix, was a step down in quality from what they've been doing. Little things that bothered me about the movie. First of all, they did a retelling of the story and rewrote parts of the story that I don't know if they needed to do. There are certain things in the movie that were not exactly according and the same as the biblical account. That's normally not a big deal. For example, I love the movie Noah with Russell Crowe. A lot of Christians and church people hated that movie, but I actually kind of liked it and don't have a problem with the way they do that. So I don't really have a problem with the retelling of the story. I have a problem with the retelling of the story when they take away from the excitement and adventure of the story. I thought there were some changes that they didn't need to make. The real pet peeve for me, this movie stars Rutger Hauer is in it. Some of you may know who that is.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane is in it. Jackson Rathbone from Twilight is in this particular movie. Stars Taylor James as Samson, and Lindsay Wagner. Some of you may remember Lindsay Wagner. She's Samson's mother. So it has a good cast. Rutger Hauer's still good.
It's got a really good cast.
Yeah, I
thought a lot of times going through it going, oh wait, I know that guy.
Yeah, and Taylor James, who I had not seen in a movie before, as Samson, I thought did a really good job. Here's the issue I had with the movie. We're talking about a movie that's some 1,000 years BC. And it amazes me how that we make movies of characters from that time frame. It bothered me about Noah as well, because it was the same as in Noah. They can have perfectly pure white teeth, groomed to the hilt hair, and makeup that is outstanding. And we see that in Samson. And I can't imagine it 1,100 years BC. I cannot imagine having those pearly whites that look so good that they're going to be on a denture cream commercial or something. So for me, I thought the story was a little bit lacking. The actors themselves did a good job. I don't think they had much of a script to work with. Frankly, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 5, as I was pretty disappointed in it. But I know that you feel a little bit different than I do.
I liked it. Samson being one of my favorite biblical characters from back before as well, but it kind of threw some little bit of twists. I don't know. It's probably what you're talking about, where they took a little bit of too much, creative thing on their own, just to kind of tweak it here and there. I don't know. I don't want to get too technical or too revealing of it, but some of the parts made it almost kind of seem like they were playing Samson to be a thief or a jokester, a guy that didn't really have anything serious about his life at all until certain things happened.
Yeah. Now, I did like that part about the fact that they portrayed Samson as a human.
They did take it humanly.
A lot of people compare Samson as a demigod, like with Hercules and stuff. I believe that Samson probably actually existed, but they did give him a human element. He liked women.
He did like his women. He liked it. He liked his wine.
Liked his wine. Had a little bit of pride. I did like the humanness portrayed.
Absolutely.
By Samson. Yeah.
I kind of, threw it Tobias in there, making a plea after some things went down. It kind of struck to me that that's where tithing would come from.
Yeah.
But the tithing itself, they kind of made it seem like tithing was like a rebellion in hiding. That was their way of rebelling against the crown. They want everything we have. Fine, we're going to put this away. They don't know we have it.
Yeah. So kind of, for you, it kind of gave if you were living then, a way that you could relate and understand to what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think
not such a religious, you have to give perspective.
Right. I don't think it, and not to say it dumbed it down for the working man in me. I think it like you said, it brought it more to a way that I could understand it a little bit better than no, you have to give this much because if you don't, you ain't right.
Yeah.
Well,
we see churches doing that nowadays.
Yeah, but they kind of put it into a survival perspective. If we don't do this, we're not going to make anything. It seemed that Delilah was a bit of a turncoat.
Yeah.
By a bit of a turncoat, I mean she was two-faced in a lot of the things that she did, but
I can't think of the lady who played Delilah, but she's in the television program Blackness.
yes,
That's doing quite well on television right now. And I thought, please don't take this wrong, she's not hard to look at.
oh, she's not hard to look at all. She's very
if I'd
pleasing.
if I'd been Samson, I'd been kind of looking that way too.
Oh, sure.
If I wasn't married. Honey, I love you, but I would not have been looking that way if I was married.
Now, the lion. It felt to me like the movie was kind of portraying his deal with the lion. Did he kill that lion, or was it just some symbolism?
Well, in real life, he killed the lion. And in real life, according to the biblical account, he killed the lion, and it was in the lion that he found the honey. And so he killed the lion and took the lion back and presented it to the king. A little bit of a different perspective in the way that they did it in the movie. Again, there are certain liberties in that regard. I think that the actual biblical account of the story is a little bit more interesting to think that that's where he got the honey. That was from the riddle that he was given by the king. And not the king, but the prince in the movie.
Yeah, the prince. The prince.
He's an ass. Can I say that on the record?
I think you caught yourself. Okay. He's an entitled little turd.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit. By turd, I mean TRD, like Toyota Racing Ball.
Would you recommend folks see the movie?
I think folks need to see the movie. I think some folks do need to see the movie. I'm kind of in line with you though. I mean, you're going with a 5 on it. I'd go closer to a 6, maybe 5.5, only because I like the production quality, the battle scenes, the gore. It wasn't horribly gory, but it was gory.
It was realistic. Yeah.
It was absolutely realistic. When he took the jawbone of the lamb and just went to town.
It was the jawbone of an ass. I know we can't say
the
that.
jawbone of an ass. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's in the Bible. We can say it.
Yeah, it is. It was. That was graphic, but tuned down a little bit. I liked it. I liked the cinematography. I liked the costume.
Yeah. The costuming I thought was great. It looked good. It reminded me, some of the scenes in it reminded me of, I think it was Stars that did the old television show Spartacus, the series.
Yes.
An adult-oriented type of program. But some of the battle scenes incorporating going into slow motion, I love that kind of editing, that kind of stuff. They did a good job with that. And you're right, the battle scenes were something in such a way that was not graphic. It was not anything that would prevent. I think you could watch it with a smaller child or a younger child and kind of write it off as comic book style violence. If you
and on that note, I think the movie does kind of lend towards explaining to them kind of how it happened. You might have to explain to them a little bit a different way, tell them this wasn't how it happened, but they still get the picture.
One of the things I did like about it, and I'll give a little bit of credit to Flix about this, is that it was not done from it wasn't preachy in any way. I've seen some movies that were really rather preachy, and I don't personally like having to pay 10, 11, 12 bucks to see a movie where I'm going to be preached at. It wasn't preachy, told a good story. A story that most folks can relate to. Let me say it this way. I think that someone from a non-church background could go see the movie Samson and enjoy it. I would recommend a matinee price or waiting for DVD, or I'd actually recommend a matinee price because I do think that would play out better on the big screen than it does on the TV screen.
Certainly, I definitely want to see it on the big screen when it hits. Just to support my pieces.
We got the screener, which means we had to either watch it on the computer or I can adapt my screener capabilities to my 60-inch downstairs, and so I watched it in that regard. But I'm with you. I would like to see it on the big screen to see the cost. Did you think, as far as your thoughts on the movie? Does it require that Bible people or people understand the Bible see it, or do you think the general populace?
No. I think they did a pretty good job of bringing a biblical story to more of a way that a more modern audience can understand and relate to it. You know, with the humor, and as you said, with the humanizing of Samson, making him more of a human. You know, the jokester, the thief, the snide remarks he makes, the rolling of his eyes, and the kind of sneer that he has. Almost. I think of course, you get to see the point where he has his epiphany and things come around, and he understands that it's not for his will, but for God's.
Yeah.
So,
but it's whether you're a believer in the Bible or not, I think it's a movie that folks will enjoy. Again, I recommend seeing it on the big screen as opposed to waiting for a digital release or for Netflix or something like that, just to see the details on the big screen. But worth seeing. Not a great movie, but well worth watching.
Shoot it straight, don't let it go.